Hi, trendsetters from all over the world, wherever you are, you've landed on Tarot Down Under. So big hi, and let's just dive in. So I've had a lot of requests for Tiger Woods. What happened? There were no skid marks. What happened? There's that. And Canadian viewers, I've been neglecting you for so long because there's been such drama south of the border. So I'm going to have a good look at Canada today. And also, I want to know why Biden leapt in and bombed Syria. What was that about? Very weird. So once again, so much to cover. Let's have a look. So I'll start with Tiger Woods. Such promise. But what really went on with the Tiger Woods car accident? What happened with Tiger Woods? Oh, I just heard I'd had enough. Sort of answers the question, but let's see what the cards say. Let's see what the cards say. Tiger Woods. All right, now we have here the Hangman. I don't like the light on this. Let me do this. The Hangman. Now, when we see the Hangman as readers, there's two ports of call we usually go to first. One, things aren't happening quickly at the moment, but that doesn't apply to this question. There's the halo that signifies getting a new slant on things, a new perspective. It also doesn't apply. But there's a third interpretation of the Hangman that I think doesn't get enough airplay. And that is, if you look at this guy, he's sort of okay with where he is, and it's the willing sacrifice. So the willing sacrifice can be many things, like, you know, sacrifices people make for their kids, or sacrifices looking after an ill relative or whatever. But with him, I have to say, I think it was time. Willing sacrifice. He was very disappointed. He still had potential, but he didn't feel up to it. He'd had a lot of surgeries, and that grinds you down. There's no doubt about it. It grinds you down. Moving to a safer place and crossing the waters symbolically, without spelling it out on YouTube, I think, you know, he decided it was time and made his own sacrifice. That's how I see it. Other people may see it differently. There's a school of thought that maybe he had some sort of seizure. Maybe he did. I'm just telling you what I got. Okay, so Tiger, blessings on the other side, regardless of how you got there. You know. Funny, all that fame, all that money, no guarantee of happiness, is it really? So before we get to Canada, a quick look at Biden. Unlike his predecessor, the Yeti, he would have read intelligence statements about what was happening. There must have been what was perceived to be a reason for it. But I'm sorry, at the end of the day, this might is right isn't helping. Certainly not helping with Iran. That's another story. I must read on Iran soon too. But let's see. What was Biden thinking with that, authorizing that bombing? What was Biden's thinking? What was he thinking? wasn't happy. Oh, he gets the lost card. Look, even though it was very quick, he hasn't been in for long. All of a sudden this happened. We woke up one day and it had already happened. He knew about it before then, and I think he agonized over this decision. I'd like to think he did. So it's like a gulp moment for Biden because he hadn't been in long, and I think the intelligence was quite strong within the paradigm of its US intelligence, which is serving the US interests, not necessarily the world's interests, but the US interests. A bit jaded and a bit suspicious about these priorities. He was disappointed he had to make the call, but he had to see himself as strong and, you know, let others see that he wasn't going to be a pussycat in terms of foreign policy, but it was weird. So this is typically the victory card, but in terms of this question and Biden's personality, it's not, whoa, look what I did, because he thinks and cares. It was more about, I had to be the leader and do it. This is the card of the new leader. Now, here we have the 10 of Pentacles. Money, a lot of money, intergenerational investments. Where do you start and stop with this stuff? We have to move on from conventional wars and move genuinely into hearts and minds, because at the moment, money still rules. This was, at the end of the day, about protecting US financial interests, as I see it. I don't know the background to the story. I haven't read detail. It might be something much more highbrow than that. But I see it as protecting financial interests and influence in the region. We need less of that and more about people. As I've often said in the past, intrepid viewers, we do not live in an economy, we live in a society. The economy is part of the society. It should not be the beginning and end of where we live. But that's me. Okay. Oh, another quick one before I get to Canada. Sorry, Canada. Bannon. He came and went and came back and stole the money from the wall, and now he's around again. Trump pardoned him for something or other, but now Cyrus Vance has him in the crosshairs. So a quick update on Bannon. How come he's not in jail? Bannon. Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon. Because don't forget, we know the Yeti was not moved by politics as such. He doesn't have an ideological neuron. It was Bannon who was pushing all the anti-China stuff. And so Bannon is still a dangerous character. What have we got? Oh, to bear out my point, the world. See, Bannon got in bed with, what's her name, that terrible woman, Rebecca Mercer. And he was part of disrupting the world, the misinformation campaign that led to Trump's election, but also that led to Brexit. He is still a global player. Ooh, yuck. But now, oh, all right, so I'll need a clarifier on that. So he's hostage to something or someone. He might owe quite a bit of money or a lot of favours to someone, and I would suggest not a particularly savoury someone. Okay. So he's not altogether his own master like he used to be. He's feeling the heat. It is coming down. Go Cyrus Vance. the King of Wands could be Cyrus Vance. Now, there's two ways of going here. This could be that Bannon has his wings clipped for now, he's embattled, but he emerges as the King of Wands. Ooh, yuck, but that's a possibility. Or is Cyrus Vance the King of Wands? Because Bannon has lost the plot. Okay. Let me think of the question. Is Bannon going to be held legally liable for this stuff? Is he going to be held legally liable for this stuff? Is he going to be held legally liable? Or is he going to skate? I'm a bit sick of those with skates. So, money rules, the Empress. I think someone will still support him who's got a lot of money. I just spoke her name. I think this is the Demon Empress. I think this could be even Rebecca Mercer. She's going to pull out all the stops. So I'd have to say, I think he is going to have legal problems and quite a few legal problems. But at the end of the day, he's going to be pulled out of the fire. Okay. So let me give the cards a good mix here, and we're going to move on to Canada. So remember NAFTA, and remember that Trump wanted to rip up NAFTA, you know, half an hour after he got into office, just because, and because Ivanka was flirting with Trudeau, and Melania probably thought, why am I going home with the Yeti when I could be meeting Trudeau in the Hyatt, you know. Hated Trudeau. So NAFTA went on hold, and then it got reinvented as a stupid, unpronounceable USMCA, UMSCA, whatever. So first of all, I'll just see if NAFTA returns to normal, and then we'll have a broader look at what's happening with Canada. What's happening with NAFTA? NAFTA. The fate of NAFTA is at a crossroads. Well, it's not as straightforward as I think. I was expecting, intrepid viewers, I was expecting it to sort of just roll over. Let's go back to where we were, you know, before the Yeti and move on. Not quite as simple as that. Wheel of Fortune. It's karma's involved in this. Could be that the USA does not do as well out of the new incarnation of NAFTA as it did before. That would be ironic, but that could happen. It's a bit like Britain pulling out of the EU and now finding, to their astonishment, they're doing really badly. Okay, so I think it's sort of a bit of a karma kick. I think Canada is a bit more annoyed, and probably Mexico, than the US negotiators thought. They thought they'd just swan in and say, look, drinks are on me, sorry about that, let's go back to where we were before. But I don't think it will. They're at a crossroads as we speak. But there's a lot of negotiation going on. And at this point, no one's on top. So they're all arguing with each other, but it's going round in circles. No one's listening to anyone else. It's a bit of a mess. Here comes the Hierophant. It will sort out law and order and all of that. It will come, but it'll be a new order. So I suspect Canada might negotiate very well and get a better deal than before. I hope on some level that it comes to pass fairly quickly because it was stupid to destroy such an important trade pact. Okay, so NAFTA, not just yet, a lot more argy-bargy. I'm sure you're all au fait now with the term argy-bargy, which is just pointless rubbish arguments. Canada. Dear Canada. Now, along with the rest of the world, Canada has been lurching to the right. They had to deal with the hideous Steve Harper. Let's make tar sand pits and, you know, destroy everything we can in record time, letting the far right take hold. So Canada, what's happening for you as a nation? What is happening? Please tell us what's happening for Canada. Okay, I'll move my computer so I can do a bigger spread here. All right. So let us see. All right. Okay. To cut to the chase, Canada is in a major transition and it's not out of the woods yet. The Empress, I get the star card for the USA. This to me is a gorgeous card at the centre. This is what all decent, thinking, caring Canadians represent, which is this figure of someone who looks after other people, of looking after the underdog, of not rushing off into pointless wars, of being sensible about things and trying to provide. That is the pure essence of the best of Canada. Now, that has been stabbed in the back, in the heart, everywhere by the last 10 or 15 years of political upheaval and change. And it's not just Conservative governments, I digress. It's not just that a government is Liberal or Conservative, it's about how Conservative. And the problem with any Conservative government anywhere is they are the ones who love neoliberalism, the neocons. They love the idea that everyone should just pay for themselves. They love the idea of free markets. What does a free market mean? Well, the argument is, look, let the market do what it wants and a healthy market creates employment, right? Okay, but what have we seen? We've seen the casualisation of everyone's job and no one has job security because they've let the market rule. The argument is competition means better prices for the consumer. Let's have lots of phone companies. Let's have lots of energy companies. You know, now when, I ask you, intrepid viewers, when was the last time your power bill went down? I'm so sick of it. Okay, so past feelings and attitudes. Moving right along in the interests of serving at least the majority of people, maybe not everyone, but the majority of people. Excuse me, not a perfect healthcare system, but a lot better than the US and not bad at all compared with a lot of things, right? And similar things with education and everything else, trying to get the basics right and successfully doing that. But what came along then in the past is the moon card, meaning things are not clear. And this is where the right gets a stranglehold. So things like the ideas about small government are appealing to people. Why should the government build hospitals? Why should the government build roads? We can get private companies to do it at half the price. That sounds good to most people. But what happens is they do it really badly, and then the public has to bail them out. So this is things being obscured, including the best of the Empress, right? Taking the Empress for granted, oh, Canada will be okay, and allowing this disinformation to take hold. But all is not lost, Canada, far from it. So past actions, what is impacting and carrying over from past actions is the sun. So it's really important for all the intrepid viewers of Canada, whether they know they're intrepid viewers or not, like-minded people who actually do support doing the right thing. Most people support doing the right thing by whether it's single mothers or veterans or even refugees. It's still there. It's still there. I'm pleased that it's weathered the storm. But at the moment, things are in retreat. It's not that obvious that the potential is still there in a sunny way, right? The stained glass window, it's working out how to go forward, how to bring everyone into the tent. The Empress wants to talk to all people, and the right's very good at talking to itself. It's very good at convincing the middle. But this is about how to reclaim Canada. That is the current puzzle, and that's the current challenge, how to work out the enigma. The answer to that is working together. Now, everyone, post-COVID, post-everything, is burnt out, you know, on some level. Most people are quite mentally exhausted. And it's important to trust the cooperative. This is about working together. So it's important, I don't want to use the terms right and left because they're very out there, but I prefer to use the idea of thinking, caring people versus selfish people. So if thinking, caring people start to work together to get a bit more momentum towards aiming for the sun again, it's like aiming higher through the collective. And if you like, you need the AOCs and the Canadian equivalents to change the conversation, put it all out there, and then people will come back a bit from that, but you're better off from where you were before. Does that make sense? It's sort of like that. So even if you're feeling a bit ground down, pull out your activist energy, find like-minded people, because in turn, that gives you energy. If you feel you're doing something, it gives you energy. Yeah. So working together. Not there yet, it is a juggle, and this is also manipulation. This is the manipulation of the moon, who dominates the media space. And most people listen to very conservative news, even if they're not out in QAnon land. In most countries, the middle of the road news isn't middle of the road at all. It's serving the conservative economic agenda, right? So there's still that to be gone through. But this is money, yes, a lot of money, intergenerational money. But even as professional readers, we see pentacles, we think money. Pentacles are also about our values. And I think Canada can reclaim its intergenerational values as represented in its best by the Empress. So I think you're not out of the woods yet. A lot of crapola to go under the bridge, to mix a few metaphors, but there's more decent people than not. But it's important not to just go into your own echo chamber either, even if it's a decent echo chamber, it's still an echo chamber. So to reach across the aisle where you can and work together. Oh, Canada, bless you for that. Love that. But expect more of the same. I was just speaking to someone this morning. There's been a big scandal about the Governor General and bullying in Canada. This stuff has to be rooted out. That was a woman. Women can be terrible bullies too. You know, so there's going to be this stuff. But it's really, really important to return to everything that made Canada exceptional and wonderful and provide a stark contrast to its nearest neighbour. So Michael Moore often pointed that out, you know, that because he comes from Flint, Michigan, and it's just over there to Canada, and how this is one mad world. And you cross the border and suddenly people are more sane and measured. It's a fascinating thing. And as a sociologist, I can see why, you know, there is such a different culture. But unfortunately, because of the right wing gaining momentum, this time of COVID, when people are suffering economically and suffering in all sorts of ways, we are all being asked in every country to search for our compassion and to demand more accountability from lawmakers. Now, before I go, Moscow Mitch, I thought we'd be finished with all these people. You know, why are their names still around? And he seemed to be talking sense after his stupid vote for a minute. Wrong. He's now said he would back Trump in 2024. I do not believe Trump will be a player in 2024, but it's only 2021. So we've still got to wait for the Yeti to finally be corralled. And who knows, let's hope they have a good vet. All right then. Love you guys heaps. Keep the comments rolling in, and I'll see you soon. Ciao. Bye, 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 bye.